As far as I'm concerned, there ain't no outsiders of anything. If you're an artist, you're an artist. If you're a mechanic, you're a mechanic. If you're a farmer, you're a farmer. Ain't no outsider farmers. Ain't no outsider mechanics. That's just something that someone's got up to class things. I ignore it.
I am at my best, emotionally and spiritually, when I am at work at either art or the writing of fiction. Over the years, it has been no accident that my best periods should coincide with one or the other of these two activities, since they have actually served to lift me out of bad times and sustain me, and serving to keep me in a good way, and I consider drawing as being in the past, but I know it will come back. My major interest in drawing and painting in the past has been in the area of self-portraiture. This has brought to have a better sense of well-being, and I consider this my keenest form of self-expression, and I intend to return to this form of the visual arts later. At times of creation, I consider line, color, and form, and pattern a basis for my creativity.
This is my presentation of a jungle scene, and it was painted on a snowy day here in Missoula in 1979, and I really never painted before, and it sort of came out as artist material for a non-artist. And for somebody that never painted before, it came out, has certain qualities to it, I think. And that little animal is a wolf monkey. You don't see him too much anymore in paintings. But this is sort of unique because the colors were kind of nice, kind of acrylic, and I never painted before, and it turned out all right.
I thought that the the stigma is worse against mental illness than against physical disabilities. It's kind of like you have a physical disability and it's not your fault. You know what I mean? It's considered an accident and to be pitied, and the stigma is against the mental stuff. But the people that objected were some of the people that were mentally disabled in some way.
I did feel tormented, but that's all.
So it's a self-portrait.
Oh, it's just a feeling, I guess.
But what is the other picture of the sleeping person at the back? Or is it a dead person?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No, I don't know.
What about this
Oh, that was something I did in your therapy class last year, and it's just an anxious face.
one? Ooh, you've got lots of colour in your anxiety.
Yes.
Does it help to use colour
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
when you feel that way?
Yes.
Authors DiCarlo and Dentonfoss wrote, depending on whose definition you accept, outsider art means the work of the insane, or of the socially outcast, or of any self-taught artist outside of the big city professional art world.
I used different colors of it for each box, or thing that I used for the painting, and I got a lot of the designs from out of my head, and in certain places where I've seen something and I've been able to draw it on paper and use it into some type of modern art or something. You know, so whenever I see something that bothers me, and sometimes that design goes on those kind of art things that I have for myself, and then I keep a number labeled for each one that I see. So, since numbers go on forever, I guess. Stick a pin right through the mark, and then I'll just gradually come on the other side to be the number. See. And I'll keep the original copy. And then, like I did before, I gave that one to Henry though. Oh, and I keep the original one, and then the other one that I draw and paint and cover it over and everything, instead of just showing the mark itself, not colored in or nothing. I colored in on the second copy, so, and I feel like I'm really going to town, wheeling and dealing, doing that kind of interesting stuff, and I've had art since I was in high school one time too, and it's been with me for quite a few years. From school and church that I used to be into, and I really appreciate it. It's been quite a pleasure. And, I've drawn a Pegasus before and horse. I did landscaping, oil paints in Warm Springs, and I've made a lot of progress in those kind of artistical areas, you know. But my problems, I put all my problems to use into a modern collage and a modern art design, so that's how I do that. And I've always drawn landscaping, and I got some oil paint that show fireplaces, trees, and animals that I've drawn, but not very many of them. But I've done a lot of oil paints and of scenery and pictures like that, and oils. I still have them reserved in my locker over at my apartment. I hope to open up a studio or something, or if there can be a studio open for people like us in River House or something, and to keep our paintings there, and, you know, people can look at it, or some sort of business. We can find some little business that people can come by and just look at. It's our window shop or something in there, you know.
anybody that, like, we had one university teacher that said, never are you supposed to paint on velvet, ever, ever. She, you know, you paint on velvet and I flunk you. And, well, she may have seen stuff that was successful on velvet, but, I mean, it kind of, like, created this big prohibition image. And you look at that velvet painting, what's wrong with it? It's great. It's amazing.
Alienation, said Dubuffet, instead of leading to spiritual bankruptcy, opens on to exaltation and jubilation. It is this state of intense joy which the insane person aims at, so-called reality being, in his eyes, merely the result of mistaken views that can be corrected. The madman is a reformer, an inventor of new systems, intoxicated with invention.
As far as being artists, Marilyn Bruyere told us that using, that our notebook paper stuff was very strong and she liked it, but that as an artist, we couldn't use it because it's all disposable medium. You know, because non-permanent markers fade with time, notebook paper is not permanent paper, and so we stopped doing it. You know, we thought, well, if it doesn't count as art, then we have to try doing bigger pieces. And we have, but it's been a lot more laborious than the notebook paper, which seemed to, art that seemed to be a lot more free-flowing. You know, we were doing it just all the time.
Jean Dubuffet wrote, "The habitual art, pompously displayed in salons and galleries, has succeeded in passing for the only art, to the exclusion of all others, in most people's eyes. This art seems to us quite poor in content, reduced to endless repetitions and imitations, and almost devoid of personal creativity. True art always crops up where you least expect it."
I don't know.
And he's wearing his heart on his shirt.
He's throwing up fire.
Well, what does that represent?
Oh, I really don't know.